Hi, this is Yarrow from InboxDone.com, and today I'm excited to have on the video with me today Christie Pitts and Chacho Valadez. Should have practiced that one beforehand, from Backstage Capital. Thank you both for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I appreciate it.
So you guys have been working now with InboxDone for a while, but I'd love to know, first of all, who you are, what you do, what is Backstage Capital, and then a little bit more about your email situation.
Sure. I'll start with a quick introduction. So I'm Christy. I'm an investment partner at Backstage. Backstage Capital is an early stage venture capital firm that invests in companies led by women, people of color, and LGBTQ founders. We've been investing for just over 5 years actively, and we have about 175 portfolio companies. And I'm based in the Bay Area in California.
And where are you, Chacho?
I'm based in Metro Detroit, and so 3 hours ahead of Christy. And so I'm a principal at the fund, and then Arlen's chief of staff, who's the founder and managing director of the fund. And so when it comes to like my inbox, it's a whole array of different things, from deal flow to logistical information for like Arlen speaking at events or recording podcasts, or doing a press interview. And then also, of course, like helping support our portfolio and helping them fundraise and just all sorts of different types of topics in the inbox. And so it's been great to be able to get that organized. Whereas beforehand, it was just kind of like a long list of to-dos. And I know like Matthew has helped us really, or helped me get things just organized in a way that is easier for me to get things done quicker.
Yeah, when I hear the numbers like 175 portfolio companies, and just because you guys are becoming, like your company is becoming so well known, I see press for you all the time. I could only imagine what the inbound flow of email every day is like. Can you tell me, like before we connected and before we started working with you, what was like a typical day in terms of how you worked with email? Is it a stress point or just a to-do list? What's it like? Start with you, Christy, if you like.
Yeah, it was just a lot of inbound came in every day, and I also used email as a to-do list, or as a way to organize undone action items. And so now that we do have InboxDone support, it is much more streamlined, and I feel like the inbox is being taken care of. Whereas before it was just kind of like a repository where the work lives. And at any given point in time, there more work could come in, it could just pile up and pile up.
Yeah, and then for me, it was similar to Christy, and I was traveling quite a bit before COVID, and so as you can imagine, it's really difficult to stay on top of your inbox while trying to like log into that like Wi-Fi in the airplane, just being on the road and dealing with that. But it was like Christy, a lot of inbound, a lot of just different asks from Arlen, or different like more like being looped in on different things. And so like every email didn't necessarily have like a specific to do, but I needed to be in the loop. And so that meant I was just taking in a lot of information on a given day. And I think what InboxDone and Matthew has helped me do is like get what I need that's important and what I need to know, versus me knowing every single little detail, because as a team, like we have built a system to pull things that we need from like an event that Arlen's speaking at, for example. And so that's been one of the most helpful things for me.
So in terms of a before and after, I'm kind of curious, did you guys have difficulty doing that process, like trusting someone to take over something as personal as your email, and then even figuring out, okay, I want to give this to you, but I feel like I really need to keep this as something I deal with? Like, how did you handle the handover process?
I think it takes a little bit of time to get into a groove. So my InboxDone manager's name is Matthew, and now we're like totally in a groove. Like we have our check-in calls and we bang through so much email during that time. And I think also where it's been really helpful is he's helped to come up with not necessarily templated, but common responses to different types of requests. And initially, when he would draft them for me, it would feel kind of funny, like maybe that's not my voice, or maybe is that what I really want to say? But then after practice and after working together, I'm like, yeah, like this message is what the recipient needs, and it gets the action item, like it takes care of it for me and moves it out of my plate. So yeah, but I think it wasn't so much like, for me, it wasn't an issue of um, like skepticism or distrust. It was more of just getting used to having somebody help you in that way, because I feel like so much of email or even text messaging, it's like the thoughts that are in your head, and then you have to translate them into words. And so having somebody else come into that process, you have to kind of adjust to think, okay, the thought that I had and the thought they had are not exactly the same, but it actually works really well. And now I'm able to respond more consistently, in a more timely manner, and things are moving in more efficiently through the inbox.
Yeah, and for me, it was I think it's still an evolving period. I fully trust like Matthew. Christy and I have the same inbox manager, which works out great. And so I think early on it was him learning sort of the culture of us and how we work together as a team, and also how we communicate with our ecosystem. And I had tried so many different iterations of like managing my inbox, from reading all sorts of different books for different like life hacks and whatnot. And so yeah, when I was working on something when Matthew first came on, and quickly realized that it wasn't working for us. And I think I really leaned into him for the expertise when it came to managing the inbox. And I think where I trusted him the most was in giving me ideas on how to organize things best, and to yeah, to really have good control of things. And so that way I don't have to have my like Gmail open 24/7 while I'm working. So I definitely find myself closing my inbox more these days.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the mental relief of not knowing it's your responsibility, it makes a big difference too. I know I went through that with my inbox manager. Last question for both of you. So for a person who might be listening to this, and they're considering handing over their email, but maybe they've been afraid of the trust factor, the privacy factor. I think that's especially important with a business like yours. You guys have so much private information about the companies you work with, all the founder information. There must have been concerns about that for you, and even just the idea of letting go, like that sense of you need to be seeing every email and replying to every email, or you're out of the loop. All those concerns, I'm sure at some point went through your head. Now that you've been through it all and you've seen it all work, what would you say to someone who's going to be listening to this and still on the fence about hiring an email assistant or working with a company like InboxDone?
I would say it's a process, and not to expect that you're going to hire somebody and then within the first week, all of your email misery will be resolved, because that's just not realistic. But I do think that if you can think about other parts of your life where you've hired somebody to help you out, maybe you have somebody help you maintain your yard, or you have other things in your life where you outsource, and you realize that when you have a strong relationship with the person that you've outsourced that task to, that you can trust them to take care of it. It's such a mental burden that's been resolved for you. And that's how I feel about InboxDone.
Yeah, and privacy was a big concern of ours, given the amount of information and confidential information received from founders. And so I think you all have done a great job of having proper NDA set in place, and also being willing to sign like NDAs on top of NDAs just to really cover things and be very thorough, which we've greatly appreciated. And yeah, my dogs are barking in the background, but I'll leave it at that.
No, that's okay. Awesome, Chacho, and thank you, Christy. So I appreciate both of you taking the time. not much more to say. Backstagecapital.com. I know for all your information, obviously Arlen Hamilton, your co-founder there is out there everywhere too. So thanks guys. Appreciate the time and we'll end it there.
Yeah. Thank you, Yara.
Thanks, Yara.